Let's talk about sex, baby. Come on.
Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that...
We're talking about sex on this episode and the laws of attraction.
That's right.
Just because we got married don't mean she got ugly.
Right.
And just because they're attractive doesn't mean you need to be attracted. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to season 4 of the 2=1 Marriage Podcast. I am the best looking host you've ever seen. I'm
yes,
sorry.
you are.
Actually, you are the best looking host I've ever seen.
Babe, thank you.
Are you excited about this season?
Yes, I'm so
crazy.
excited. I love how we're talking about all these things that have been like taboo.
Marriage taboo.
Yeah,
Things
taboo.
that you should talk about, but you don't.
Yeah, but why? People don't want to talk about stuff because it's uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Or we've been taught that it's taboo.
Or they're hiding.
Or
they don't want it to be fixed.
But who likes to be uncomfortable, have
Not me.
uncomfortable conversation?
I do actually love
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I don't like to, but you love all the uncomfortable things.
So listen, if you're new to 2=1, we want you to check out our website, www.2=1.com. That is a great way to jump into everything Jimmy and Irene with this marriage coaching, all of that. And then if you're all in, you can jump straight to the 2=1 marriage coaching, our community. It's absolutely awesome.
So much fun.
It's basically you're signing up for us to like walk with you and your spouse or you by yourself through this journey.
That's right.
You know, of
and it's
relationships.
Live, like it's with us.
Absolutely.
You know, obviously using technology, but you know, it's with us and we get to do life together. And that's what I love. It's like I learn better when I don't just hear steps on how to get better or do better or self-help, but it's more like, how did you apply it to your life?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? What did that look like? Can I ask questions? And
and if this podcast is helping you, we want you obviously to like, we want you to share, and we want you to subscribe.
That's right.
But check out our website, check out the other seasons. We've got 3 seasons before this, but I'm excited about Marriage Taboo.
Yep.
And I'm about to jump into something that I know is taboo couples don't talk about.
Come on, somebody.
Right? And here's the kind of the byline or the thought. And you and I talked about this because, you know, we didn't get to talking about this stuff like for real until deep into our relationship. But just because we got married doesn't mean she's still not attractive.
Woo. Who's she?
I'm just saying she. She with the big old butt. She with the big old boobs. She with the perfume that's trying to call you. Like, just because we got married doesn't mean like it's not difficult for me not to look.
Or that another person is attractive.
Absolutely.
So there's a difference between like someone being attractive and you being attracted to that person.
Hold on. Say that again.
So
Say that again.
you know, we have agreed that other people, we're going to find other people attractive.
Yes.
But when you become attracted to them, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Now you violated a marriage boundary.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
We do a talk called Body Parts. And we talk about how in this sexual culture, people are looking at or looking for certain body types. Like some people are offended that I said butt and boobs, right? But those two things probably is, in the equation of how they came to earth, like how they got here. Like your parents had sex.
Right.
Like your parents were attracted to one another. Like if you've got kids, you know about butts and boobs. Right. Right? I think that's just the best way to say it. B squared.
Yeah, but I mean, just to make it fair, I mean, ladies, we're looking at, what's a guy's build like?
Build,
do they have
butts, boobs, and builds, and body. Oh, keep going, girl.
All right, you and your alliterations. Oh my gosh. Like biceps.
But I'm getting them. They're coming.
Babe, you're getting
biceps.
They're
not there yet.
I'm so proud of you.
I feel a little...
I'm so proud of you.
It's not shame, but I feel like you're patronizing me. It's okay.
Well, it's, you haven't had them in the entirety of our marriage. Jimmy. Man boobs. Yeah. But you have worked on that. And I'm just letting you know I appreciate it. I really, really do. I am attracted.
Are you really? You want to make out right now?
Not necessarily.
It's so funny. Our team, Kevin, just started laughing. Like, I'll make out right now.
And I'm like, no, I'm not the PDA girl. But
there's John like this. Will he just say, hey, let's make out right now?
I love it. I love it.
And here's the thing. Like, I think for me, it's obviously an easy conversation because that's just how I am in my personality. But I remember like when I was 420 pounds, I was insecure because you're hot. You've always been hot. You've always worked out. Right. I remember the first time I saw you, I was like, dang, but I wasn't Christian. So I didn't say dang. I said some other words. Right? I was Christian, but not redeemed. I wasn't sanctified yet. Right. But you thought I wasn't even looking at you.
Yeah.
I was looking at the shape. I was, legs, butt, boobs, hair, smile.
Well, you played it
lips.
off really well.
Like
because I honestly did not think you were checking me out. And you were like the only guy in the office that it just felt like you were the only person around me at the time that wasn't undressing me with their eyes.
Yeah.
So
I was, you just didn't know it. But now I don't have to do it with my eyes. I actually do it with my hands. Because we're married.
Yes, you can.
25 years.
That's right.
And so here's what I feel. I feel like couples are struggling in this area. And because like the beginning struggle of I still find people attractive. The beginning struggle that your coworker still looks good. The beginning struggle of when you go on vacation at the beach and the thong bikini is there and you're a man, it's like that
right
butt. You looked at your wife's butt when she had the thong bikini. You're going to stop looking at her butt. No. So what are the rules? What are the laws that you're putting in your relationship and your marriage? Because guess what? If you don't have them and you don't talk about them, this is where affairs come in.
Exactly.
This is where, you stay too long at the water fountain. This is where you're in your DMs looking at and scrolling. Come on. I don't know if y'all do the little pinch. Because I know when I'm struggling, having a bad moment, I don't have to look at porn. I just do the pinch. Come on, the pinch is when you see somebody attractive, you just want to scroll in to see what they really look like close up.
It's so funny because whenever I see you doing the pinch, I'm like, what you looking at?
And I don't have
always
problem.
ask.
And sometimes I'll say, she's hot. Like, and then other times I'm like lying. And then other times I'm just looking at, I don't know. I feel caught right now.
First of all, you don't actually call anybody else hot.
No.
Except for me.
Yeah.
So let's
just attractive.
Yes.
Yes.
But I've never caught you because you are smarter than that. And I'll tell you why. Because your explore page will tell on you.
Yes.
Your explore page will tell if you are, the algorithm on these apps will put you out there.
So I could hit clear. I know how to clear the cache. I know how to, clear my history. But what's not going to be clear is that algorithm that's on the Explore page on TikTok, on the Explore page.
Sometimes we both pull ours up and we start talking about it.
Yeah.
And you explain to me about how it all works. And
Absolutely.
if you'll show me right away if something came up on your feed.
Yes.
Just to go ahead and let me know that so that I don't think that you are out there looking for it, but it just pops up. You know what I mean? Like even with golf and, and different things like that, right?
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is cool. So what I did, if you're listening, is I showed Irene, like, I love golf. Like if you look at my Explore page right now, which I show it to you all the time.
All the time.
At times, there's a girl in a short skirt who has thunder thighs, right? And that would be attractive to me on my Explore page. And you're like, and I explained to you how I'm looking at golf. And then there will be a girl playing golf and I'll look at golf and now a cookie comes on my, whatever algorithm. And now it'll pull up now pictures of girls that play golf and a lot of influencers, that's the culture we live in.
Yeah.
They're pulling people in. But
I think at the end of the day, Jimmy, it boils down to we're just completely transparent with each other and we have full access and full exposure to one another about like if something like is potentially violating our couple bubble or violating our honesty,
which is ultimately the equation to intimacy.
Yeah. So I got to be able to trust that you find somebody attractive and you're able to be honest with me about it, and you're not going to go down the road of being attracted.
Yeah,
allowing
where it's calling me and I'm repeatedly looking things up. I mean, scripture is plain.
Yeah.
Right? That if we even think it in our minds, it's as if we already have done it.
Yes.
And honestly, I've heard a lot of people say, well, if that be true, then I might as well just do it. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. Right. You don't get it. That's the guardrail. That's the thing where you should be like repenting there. Like, God, help capture these thoughts. Help me take these thoughts captive and make them obedient right? To the call and the will on my life. And what I've seen in this culture that we live in, Romans 12, 1 and 2, and I love the Message version. I call it the messy version, which is, I need that. Don't be so well adjusted to this culture that you fit into it without even thinking.
Right.
We live in a sexual culture.
It's true.
I know husbands and wives that put on perfume, that dress up, not for their spouse, but so they give off some level of, I guess let me say it this way. They give off some level of wanting attractive to turn into attracted because they're not getting attention at home. And that's a recipe for an affair. That's a recipe for an emotional affair. And so for us, one of the things that we've instituted, and I did this, and you were like, whoa, I remember we were year one, and I was in college, and I had a really good friend who was a female, who was beautiful. And I had a relationship with her, not a sexual relationship. It was a friendship. It was a genuine friendship. Now, if I'm honest, did I want it to be more? I did, but she was like out of my league, right? And I remember telling you, like, I don't want a friendship in our marriage that I fantasize about the friendship because we haven't had this level of friendship.
You fantasized about the
level of friendship
that you had with another woman.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was in our marriage. And I remember we were at St. Stephen's, Maryland, on the dock eating a crab cake
that.
At year one, 24 and a half years ago. And I told you this, and I said, honey, I don't want to think about another female, not her body, not her body parts, but the fact that
relationship you had with her.
I had a relationship. I want us to be closer than that. In other words, I wanted what we have to replace what I had with somebody else. So that's the question that you need to ask you. Does what you and your spouse have, is it replacing what you had with somebody else?
Okay. What I heard in that moment was not necessarily because of my unhealth and my lack of maturity at the time. I heard, I'm not good enough. You liked her better than me. I got insecure because I didn't know how to have that relationship that you were talking about. And so obviously hindsight's 2020. I think I would have heard it better if you said, hey, I'd like to be closer and have a closer friendship with you. Let's work on our friendship. Let's work on and then later say, I have found myself fantasizing over, can I have a vulnerable moment?
Yeah, I could have said it.
You
better.
could have said that,
100%.
Like, can I have a vulnerable moment where I tell you I've fantasized about the friendship I had with this other woman. So I had to fight through all of these things because of my immaturity. I had to fight through an insecurity, like instead of hearing the real thing at the bottom of what you were trying to say, you were getting honest about this fantasy because you wanted at the end of the day to feel that close to me. So, but then I was like, how do we do that?
Right.
I don't know how to do that.
We didn't have the tools.
We didn't have the tools.
And that's what we're helping people with.
Yeah. And we'll get into, laws of attraction and kind of how to put those guardrails up.
Yes.
But when people hear the word laws, you
like
automatically
rules.
think rules. But if you look up the definition of the word rule, it actually means more of like a trellis.
Yes.
Like a trellis is, used in gardening,
like
right?
To grow
and
plants
for
up,
something
right?
to grow. Yeah. Ooh. So it's like framework. Look at it
You're
as,
so
let's
smart.
reframe it.
That's sexy.
Let's not look at it as a law. Let's look at the laws of attraction as more as like, what are going to be our guardrails for how we are going to put boundaries, a trellis around our marriage that we can grow over the years and protect our family unit and our couple bubble.
Absolutely.
So what does that look like? Because you know what? I'm a female.
Yes.
And just because I'm female does not mean, this whole thing about, I think it's the tables, it's such a, what's the word? Stereotype that it's the guy that's double standard, that it's only the guys who struggle with like attractedness or lust towards
it's like a woman thing too.
It's a woman thing too. Women struggle with pornography. The numbers are like astounding.
Yeah.
When I go out and I'm at a speaking engagement and I speak on overcoming addiction and overcoming shame, the altars, the people who come for prayer, who come for help, Our majority are not dealing with a substance abuse issue. A lot of the women are dealing with porn.
Wow.
Porn addiction. It is real. And so like at what point do we cross, Jimmy, this line of being attracted to someone and lusting? Because as a woman, I find guys attractive.
Wow.
There are body parts, personalities, things like that I find attractive. But I think in my mind, what is unique to my personality that you need to value and love about me because is
Brag
the fact
yourself,
that
girl, go ahead.
I mean, seriously, like I want to run as fast as possible away from any appearance of anything that could make you think that I don't belong to just you.
Yeah, because I'll
that
fight
my
somebody.
eyes are just for you.
I'll fight somebody.
You will.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to go to jail. I want to continue to be married to you and do life with you. So don't go to jail. So here's the thing. Is it worth it for me to take a second look at somebody or allow myself to go past the guardrail and entertain what it would be like to be with that person and compare you to someone else? Man, it's so not worth it to me.
Wow.
I'd rather protect the trust you have for me. And I value that because you're a 7-8 on the Enneagram, right? So you are trust for an 8 on the Enneagram. It's hard for you to trust. It can also be part of your character flaw, for lack of a better word. Like you're going to be less trusting first. You are so discerning and intuitive. You pick up on things.
Yeah.
So I don't want you picking up on me checking out another guy. I want you to know that I am loyal to you.
Come on.
Just like the way you made me felt when we just met.
Yeah.
You may have been checking me out. And that felt good to find out that you were checking me out. But I didn't want to be checked out by all the guys. I wanted to be checked out by my husband and by you. So anyway, just that loyalty, that trust factor is just so big to me.
I think, first of all, thank you for sharing that, because that's something that we have to continually talk about because there is real opposition against marriage.
That's right.
And I think what people don't realize is you're not just up against a lust issue. You're not just up against a porn issue. You're not just up against, lack of sex in your own marriage. There is a real enemy that understands that two people that come together, like this is like in the book of Genesis, right?
Yeah.
When we were created, he goes like, I want you to be fruitful, to multiply, subdue, and have dominion. Dominion is like life to the full. Dominion is like authority in your marriage, authority in your person, authority in your spiritual life. And what scripture is saying is when two become one, right? Why are you using that scripture? Because that's later, Jimmy, they become one flesh. Well, the command to be fruitful and multiply requires somebody else. And so in the covenant of marriage, you are my somebody else. And I have to see this covenant and count the cost of covenant. Here's what I want to say, because here's a lot of people are struggling with, well, that don't cost me nothing. That me scrolling on that internet, it's not even porn. It's just a bathing suit. I remember Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. That was like the first thing for me. Actually, it was JCPenney's growing up. The JCPenney lingerie section. And I'd just I'd be opening that magazine when I was younger. But what I didn't understand is the cost. When I got married and I understood covenant and I understood that against covenant, there's a counterfeit against covenant. Yeah. This is the garden. This is Adam and Eve, right? What did Adam do? He traded in an apple, for a naked wife. First of all, Adam, we're going to have a conversation. When I get to heaven, I want to know why you traded in the apple bottom for the apple. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a talk. But beyond that, what he did in that moment is he traded in eternity, something that was eternal for something that was fantasy. And that's, in this culture, let's make it real. Right?
That's normal.
Counterfeit for covenant.
Always.
Ask yourself, what am I doing violating our covenant?
Yeah, but it's the normal, unfortunately.
Wow.
So we need to create this new normal because we don't want to be conformed by the things of the world.
No.
but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So my prayer right now is that listeners would take hold of that thought right there. Mm-hmm. What are we conforming to without even realizing it? Wow. In terms of culture, mm-hmm. have we even realized that we've conformed without even knowing it?
So good.
And, like, speaking of conformity and speaking of double standards, I'm going to bring the double standard thing. Mm-hmm. It really irks me.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Because I kind of feel like they're double standards. It's normal in our society for it to be the woman's fault for dressing in a way that's attractive.
Saying that it's causing lust in a man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and the Bible does say, don't cause your brother to stumble and things like that. And yes, that is true. But I believe that culturally, there's factors. Certain cultures.
That's great.
So we have to really examine our hearts and what does God have to say about the way I dress versus, and how do I feel in these clothes, and what type of attention do I want?
So good.
Because at the end of the day, are you looking to please others, or are you looking to please God? And that's how I kind of dealt with that. I was like, oh, my culture, my upbringing, the people I was around said less is more in the way I dressed when I met you. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly I went the other extreme and I was covering my entire body. I used to like
short shorts you wore.
My God. I was wearing half tops. I was a size 4.
Give me
Okay. I had a 6-pack back then before babies. Yeah.
It was like a 5-pack.
No, it was 6.
You had one ab that was lopsided.
Whatever. Hey, I had abs.
You did. I feel shame. You're right. I have a keg.
You have it, but I love your keg.
Come on.
Okay.
Dad bod.
So anyway, but here's the thing. When I came around your world, it was like I felt like there was something wrong with me because of the way I dressed. I felt shame. And so I began to hide behind these big clothes. And then you would look at me and be like, what are you doing? I want to see. You didn't want to see my ugly PJs and my old tattered T-shirts. Let's not go down that road right now. But you wanted to see me look attractive. I'm like, okay, I can do that. But then when other guys hit on me, why do you act like you want to fight everybody? Mm-hmm. So where's the balance in that for the females? It's like, I know my daughter gets fired up about this. Yeah. She's like, I'm not responsible for someone else's lust issue.
Yeah, I think that's real. And I think it's different for singles and married, right? I think single people should dress to be attractive. I think they should put on perfume to attract the opposite sex. I think they should look presentable when they, leave the house. I say it this way, girl, look like you took some time with yourself this morning.
Come on.
Dude, get a shape up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go to the gym. Like, I wish I had these thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I had a line waiting for me, when we got together. Like, you were just, one of. Come on, somebody. But anyway, I feel like the line is in marriage is, why are you doing it? Mm-hmm. Right? Why are you putting on perfume? If you have a thought that my boss might smell this and like it, if you have a thought that someone else is going to like this, that's an issue in your relationship that you can't cover up with perfume.
So what I'm hearing you say, it's about motivation.
It's about motivation.
What is your motivation?
Yes.
So my motivation to dressing in a way that shows my figure or whatever is for you.
Come on.
And I always ask you, if it's, hey, babe, is this, before we leave the house, what do you think about this? Is this too revealing? Because again, it's that balance of I'm not trying to cause somebody else to stumble. Yeah. I'm not trying to walk out the house in a half shirt at 47 years old. You know what I'm saying? And
just
booty
in the house,
shorts.
Though. We empty nesters.
But hey,
we don't need clothes. Clothes are optional at this point.
True. Yeah. And you have made that very clear on a regular basis.
You hear John? John, what does John think about this?
He can't wait for the kids to grow up now.
Right? He's like, I want to be an empty nester.
Right. But no, in the real, how did we help couples find this balance?
So motivation.
Yep. Self-check. Mm-hmm. So I check myself. What is my motivation? And I ask you, what do you think? And it's not about control. It's about covering, because I know your weaknesses, which are trust issues.
Yes.
So I don't want to break trust.
Yes.
I know, because I've become a Jimmy whisperer.
Come on, girl.
And so I want to, at the end of the day, I want to protect us.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want you to fight somebody. So, but guys are going to be attracted to me. So I want to challenge you with that. What have you done?
What I love about you and how you present yourself, no matter what you wear, right? You are walking as if I'm taken.
Yes.
You have this thing like, I see guys, I'm in the airport, they're looking at you. I have started to look at it like, yep, she mine.
That's right.
Right, go ahead, look at her. I looked at her. I know you're gonna look at her. I can't fight everybody anymore. Like I'm 50. Number one, the fight would be like 30 seconds because, I just don't have the stamina.
You're crazy.
Right? A lot of things are taking 30 seconds right now.
Oh, Jimmy.
I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, like, in this area, I think, like, take it as a compliment that someone is looking at, if you were a designer, right? And you were a house designer, and your job was to design furniture. Don't you think you're going to put all your all into designing your house?
Yeah.
And then people are going to look at your house and want to do that. Right? So I'm looking at it like, that's my girl. Yep. She's hot. She's fine. Yep. I love her. Right? If you can afford that ring, you can have her. I'm joking. But I'm just saying, like, I think, couples really need to look at their motivation, right? Look at God's creation. And that's, for me, that's what I have to do. So if I start talking about the laws, one of the laws for me is, and I wrote this down, is I'm going to count the cost. If you're listening right now, count the cost of what you're tempted by. Right? Number 2 would be make a daily covenant with your eyes. You know what I pray every day? Every single day.
Yeah.
God, I pray that you make covenant with my eyes, that they are only attracted to the body of my wife. That's a real thing. Because culture out here, thongs are out here, butts are out here. And like the next thing I say is I want to construct a guardrail. So I'm going to count the cost. I'm going to make covenant. I'm going to construct a guardrail. A guardrail is, what am I willing not to look at on my phone? What movies am I willing not to look at? I can't look at, it's going to trigger something. I don't need to look at porn. I have a card catalog in my mind. Old school library. There was not computers. There was a card catalog. And in that card catalog were files. And I've struggled with porn. At 9 years old, I was introduced to it. In college, I was addicted to it. Those pictures, I feel like sometimes I can't erase those pictures. So when I'm saying I'm making covenant with my mom, God, help me to erase those files. I think in constructing a guardrail is like accountability. Like, who can I call that says, hey, man, I just preached. I'm in a hotel by myself. Call me at night and make sure that I'm good.
And I trust your accountability.
Come on.
That always makes me feel good.
And then the next thing is adjust your culture. Why keep putting yourself in environments that you know you're going to be tempted in?
Come on.
I literally, when we go to the beach, like we live in West Palm Beach, right? If we go on vacation to the beach, or we're going to the beach here, I will just say it. That girl over there has a thong on. I'm a butt dude. Can we sit somewhere else? What I'm doing is I'm adjusting my culture. Don't be so well adjusted to this culture. Adjust yourself. Move yourself. Remove yourself from temptation. Because here, as a man thinks, so is he. Right? And so I got to put myself in environments where what I'm seeing is not affecting how I'm thinking.
That's good.
And that's what we have to do.
And, I would say to leave with the listeners that, number 1, examine your motivations, examine your heart, have the ability to self-check. Why am I doing this? Why am I wearing this? Why am I posting this picture on social media?
Check yourself.
Check yourself.
Before you wreck yourself.
Right.
Look at that. That's a bar.
And then number 2, what I think would culminate my thoughts on this episode would be, how am I honoring my husband? How am I honoring Jimmy? Romans 12, verse 10 says, love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring one another, right? So I use that as my framework, where, like, another version says, outdo one another in honor.
Yeah.
So what are we doing to outdo one another in honor? I'm honoring you when I am caring for what you value most. You value trust. You value integrity. So I never want to break our trust, and I value that. So I'm going to over communicate. Hey, babe, this guy just messaged me. Hey, babe, I'm going to reply on a double text with you on it. Okay. I'm going to reference you and presence you whenever you're not around. You're there because I'm like my husband. I flashed my ring. I'm like,
let me say it again. Flash it again.
Like I didn't even tell you this, but a couple days ago I was pumping gas, and the guy was because I got these goddess locks now, this hair. Some was singing in like I don't know, in patois or something like that.
Were you with Maya?
No, I was by myself.
So I saw the one you with Maya. There was a guy in a white car. He looked like a hippie. And he said something to you at the gas station, and Maya was sitting there, and I was at the light because we had just left lunch.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to decide if I was going to pull in and whoop his butt.
He was saying that we smelled good.
And then I took it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Like, how do you smell us all the way from over there? Whatever. Anyway, but this other guy was singing to me and all this type of stuff, and I was just like, you made me forget my point. I forgot. You know, I got ADD.
You were talking about the guy?
Honoring. Yes. So I said, he said something about my hair, and I said, yes, my husband thinks so too. He paid for them, and this ring too. Like, you know what I mean? I'm always bringing you up.
I see you, girl.
Yes.
Presencing.
So it's like you're there whether you're there or not. So and I just love that. I value and honor you. And I want to, if it's going to hurt you, then it hurts me even deeper. So it's like, I'm going to care for that. And I think there's a couple out there. There's a woman out there who's wondering, you know, or a man who's like, no, your wife's not nagging you. Your husband's not nagging you or trying to control you. Find out what it is that is being bothered, that's hurting them. What's beneath the emotion that you're just seeing anger. You're just seeing, oh my gosh, they just want to control me. No, they're hurt about something.
Yeah.
So what is it? Maybe you're the only one on the planet who can heal that, who can care for that. So find that out and then care for it, and you're honoring, and then they heal, and then you feel less of all that other stuff.
This is marriage taboo. This is stuff that people aren't talking about that they need to talk about. Because we need to like change this divorce rate.
Come on.
We need to change this narrative that marriage is not good and it doesn't work. It does work if you work it. That's why we exist. 2 = 1 Marriage Podcast. Right. And guess what? Some of you right now, we have sparked your interest. You need to like, you need to subscribe, and you need to share. In the next episode, we're gonna just take this to another level that just talks about like sexual past and what's playing into your desires and what's playing into what's calling you. And kind of the thought is, and I'm gonna talk about this, right, is your introduction causes your appetite. Your introduction is what formulates your appetite. We're going to talk about it in the next episode. And let's talk about sex, baby. That's what we're going to talk about. Let's talk about you and me. Listen, like, subscribe, and share this 2 = 1 podcast. Go to www.2equals1.com. We will see y'all on the next episode. Let's talk about sex, baby.